Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come into your homes today. I, like Liam, trust that everyone had a nice Memorial holiday, and now we're back into the grind, and we'll have a good week this week. I have some facts and figures about our crop acreage that I'd like to share, and that's what I'll begin with. This is a 2023 crop summary. This is a breakdown of the crops and the acreage, the yields, these types of details that related to last year's crop, which was 2023. I began with corn for grain. North Carolina farmers harvested 900,000 acres of corn for grain in 2023, up 125,000 acres from 2022. Yield averaged 147 bushels per acre, up 21 bushels from the 126 bushels per acre averaged in 2022. Production at 132.3 million bushels was 35% higher than the 2022 total of 97.65 million bushels. So it seems like that the acreage and yield was up some in 2023 versus 2022. Now we move into cotton, and cotton acres harvested in 2023 totaled 370,000 acres, down 90,000 acres from the 460,000 acres harvested in 2022. So in 23, cotton was down some. Yield averaged 947 pounds per acre, down 102 pounds per acre from the previous year. Production at 730,000 bales was down 27% from the 1,005,000 bales produced in 2022. North Carolina has always been a good peanut state, and regarding peanuts, North Carolina's top 5 peanut producing counties include Bertie, which is over in the Windsor area, Martin, which is in the Williamston, North Carolina area, Edgecombe, of course, Pitt, and Halifax counties. These are the 5 counties with the most acres grown in each county. Now let's see how all this relates to yield and harvest. North Carolina farmers harvested 123,000 acres of peanuts in 2023, 7,000 acres higher than the 116,000 acres harvested in 2022. Yield per acre was 4,300 pounds per acre, down 70 pounds from the 2022 estimate. Production at 528.9 billion pounds was up 4% from 506.92 million pounds of peanuts produced in 2022. Moving along to soybeans harvested acres, that is, in 2023 total 1.63 million acres. This was down 50,000 acres from the 1,068 million acres harvested in 2022. Yield averaged 39 bushels per acre, which is the same as the 2022 average. Production totaled 63 million bushels, down 3% from the previous year's production of 65 million bushels. Here's a stat on burley tobacco, and burley tobacco is not very significant in North Carolina any longer, and so these figures are very minuscule, but nevertheless they are reported. Burley tobacco, North Carolina farmers harvested 120 acres of burley tobacco in 2023. And I repeat that just only 120 acres were reported, as being under production in North Carolina. This was down 40 acres from 2022. Yield averaged 1,650 pounds per acre, down from the 1,700 pounds per acre averaged in 2022. Production at 198,000 pounds was down 27% from the previous year's production at 272,000 pounds. So barley is by and large located now and being grown primarily in Kentucky. There's a little bit in Tennessee, and as you just heard, a very little bit in North Carolina. Now, that is not true with flue-cured tobacco, and the tobacco you see all in and around Rocky Mount, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson counties is flue-cured. These are the figures on it. North Carolina farmers harvested 113,000 acres of flue-cured tobacco in 2023, down 2,000 acres from the previous year. Yield averaged 2,300 pounds per acre, up from the 2,150 pounds per acre, which was the average in 2022. Production at 259.9 million pounds was up 5% from the previous year's production of 247.25 million pounds. So those figures are what they are. In the late 90s, before the program was dismantled, the government program was dismantled, flue-cured tobacco acres reached almost 1 billion pounds. And needless to say, to produce 1 billion pounds, you had to have a whole lot more acres than the 113,000 acres that was grown in 2023. So, yet tobacco hangs in there, and these figures regarding flue-cured tobacco relate to the acreage that is primarily grown, in my view, from just north of Fayetteville on I-95 all the way to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where we are. That's where the core, the focus, the concentration of flue-cured tobacco is being raised. And of course, there's some tobacco in Virginia. There's a little bit left in South Carolina, and there's some in Georgia as well. But we'll continue to monitor that. We have a lot of history all around us, and I'd like to take a few moments now to talk about something, an artifact, you might say, down in Tarboro, North Carolina, which we call the Tarboro Cotton Press. This is an article I'm going to refer to out of a local magazine down there, and the article was written by Mrs. Monica Fleming. Monica is a retired professor at Edgecombe Community College. She's a profound historian of local history, and she is a lovely person. These facts all came from Monica's research. Located in the northwest corner of the Tarboro Town Common is a large wooden structure that dates back to the 1840s. Some people erroneously refer to it as a cotton gin, thinking it is the type of machine patented by Eli Whitney in the late 18th century that increased the production of cotton. The item on the common is actually a cotton press, and sometimes it has also been referred to as a fruit press. A cotton gin, short for engine, originally was a smaller machine that was used to remove the seeds from the cotton. Although Whitney received the patent, he was not the only person to design such a machine, and many forms existed. One example of a cotton gin is in the agricultural tool collection at the Blunt Bridges House Collection. Gins varied in size and could be small enough to fit on a table or large enough to occupy a room. The cotton press, on the other hand, was moved to the town common in the late 1930s to preserve it. In the 19th century, Edgecombe County had over a dozen of these presses located on the larger plantations in the area, but this one is believed to be the last one in the state of North Carolina. It may also be one of the last ones in the South. Obsolete now, at one time in the mid-19th century, cotton presses were the major agricultural machine when Edgecombe County annually produced thousands of bales of cotton. In the late 1850s, Edgecombe County was the largest producer of cotton in the state. The press was made entirely of wood. The frame beams were hand-hewn from pine trees that were at least 180 years old, according to the rings in the timbers. The support cross beams are a square foot in diameter. The screw of the press is made out of the trunk of an oak tree. The press is 22 feet high and stood under a large shed. To operate the press, a pair of mules or oxen would walk around the press while farm laborers loaded the cotton into the frame that was lined with burlap. When the top of the press was turned, a large screw wound down, pressing the cotton into a bale that weighed about 400 pounds. When the bale was full, the burlap was tied around it. Then the bale would be rolled on small logs and loaded onto wagons to be taken to the train depot or the docks by the river to ship the raw cotton to a mill. Drawings of the press and photographs taken in 1940 can be found in the Historic Buildings of America survey website sponsored by the Library of Congress. A working model of the press made by Henry Clark Bridges, Jr. is on display in the Edgecombe County Memorial Library. The press was sometimes called a fruit or wine press because fruit was squeezed in the machine so the juices could be collected to make cider or wine. Edgecombe County had a reputation as early as the 1780s for producing fine cider and brandy. The wood for the press was cut by hand, possibly by slaves, and demonstrated some of the fine craftsmanship of the time. The cotton press on the town common was originally located on the North Fleet Plantation, where the Piedmont Gas Company is today, just off Wilson Street Extension towards the industrial park, where the industrial park is situated. In fact, the North Fleet family cemetery is still there, even though the period of 1810 home was moved in the 1990s and was eventually relocated to the Edgecombe Community College campus and restored in 2014. The press was first moved to the town common in the late 1930s when the county prison was established where the college is today. It was restored by Merck Pulley, who built the rotating roof structure and pushed to the northwest corner of the commons. During the 250th anniversary of the founding of Tarboro in 2010, a time capsule was buried by the press to be opened in 50 years, or looking ahead to 2060. The Northfleet Plantation was begun by Isaac Northfleet, who moved to Edgecombe County around 1810 when he married Christina Ward. An early reference in the Tarboro newspaper indicated that Isaac was an assistant marshal, and he collected the census material for the county in 1830. According to deed records, Northfleet came from Bertie County, and in 1810 and 1811 he began buying 200 acres of crop property in the area. When Isaac died in 1844, his estate included over 1,700 acres to be divided among his 10 children. Listed in his will was a reference to the cotton press, which he left to his son Robert, who would later become part owner of one of the finest farms in the county in the 1850s, known as the Panola Farm. The cotton press on the northwest edge of the town common, is a lasting memory of farm technology of the 19th century. And that's what makes it precious, and the fact that this memory and this history is being preserved. If you will indulge me, ladies and gentlemen. Here is some information on a North Carolina farm school that was very successful. And all this has happened recently. 13 budding artists were recently chosen as winners in the annual Farm School calendar contest sponsored by the North Carolina Grange. The North Carolina Grange is an organization that I call a PAC, that is Political Action Committee. Their function and their service to agriculture and to the community is very similar to the Farm Bureau Federation. They both seek to do the same things in their plan of work. This contest was sponsored by the North Carolina Grange. Each month depicts the art of a student and represents a different commodity. The calendar also includes daily facts about agriculture, giving students an understanding of agriculture's role in food production. The Farm to School Calendar Contest is a pretty special project. This is the 13th year for the contest, and it is extremely popular with students and teachers, drawing over 3,600 entries from 56 counties, said Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler. As I look at the winning artwork, I can honestly say you have done a great job of capturing the diversity of agriculture in the state. And that's something that we are very proud of, and I'm digressing from the article here, but we have a tremendous diversity of agriculture in North Carolina, from produce to row crops to specialty crops to all kinds of floral and wood-related crops, tree-related, etc. Prizes for student winners from kindergarten through 5th grade include gift cards from the North Carolina Farm to School Cooperative and the School Nutrition Association of North Carolina. They were awarded at the Got to Be NC Festival in Raleigh on May 17. Winning entrants were Nicholas Ortega, 5th grader from Sardis Elementary in Union County, Blake Hanlow, a 1st grader at Lake Lure Classical Academy in Rutherford County. And it's just a host of these young people who did an outstanding job. For 27 years, the North Carolina Farm to School program has helped place products from North Carolina farms into the state's school cafeterias. This year, the project set a new record with farmers supplying over $3.6 million worth of food products to schools across the state. The program is a collaboration of the Food Distribution and Marketing Division in the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. The North Carolina Grange ensures that students receive calendars free of charge. The calendars will be available through the school nutrition program, and so this is a wonderful thing they're doing as well. My time has run out. I've enjoyed being with you. I look forward to returning once more next Tuesday. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you.